Do cut tools actually make you more productive as a translator? Coming up. Hello and welcome back to the Freelanceverse. Thanks for coming back to the channel once again. This video is all about cut tools, right? It's a tool that I use every day, and I couldn't do my job without it. And a lot of people still ask me, do we need a cut tool? Do we need to invest in a cut tool as a beginner? And I always tell on my channel, especially if you take it seriously, if this is your profession that you want to get into, then this is the one working tool we have, right? We usually have very low overhead costs as freelance translators, which is an amazing thing, but this is something that I would definitely invest in. A cut tool is our main working tool. Now, why is it so important? Number one reason is definitely productivity. Working in a cut tool makes your workflow much more efficient and much faster. And today I want to show you exactly why that is. And just before we get into it, this video is sponsored by memoQ. Thank you very much. memoQ Translator Pro recently switched to a subscription model. You can now choose exactly the model that you like, that fits to your needs. You can choose between a yearly and a monthly subscription. What's really cool is that you can decide to cancel your subscription at any time, so that gives you a lot of planning when you're doing your budgeting, etc. And also, especially for people that couldn't afford the full version before, this is an amazing offer, right? Because you can literally buy it monthly, much less initial investment, which is always good if you're starting out your career. You can very easily anticipate your costs. You benefit from a premium, high quality software that is compatible with many other softwares as well, and your support doesn't depend on the SMA status anymore, but the customer support is at your availability at any times. Before subscribing, you can even try the software out for free for 30 days. So make sure, if you're interested, click the link down below and check out what memoQ Translator Pro can do for your business. All right, let's jump right into it. The number one reason why working with cut tools is more productive and more efficient are definitely the terminology tools that you have at hand. So you have a translation memory and a term base. I made videos on both of these. I'm going to link them in the title cards in the top right corner, I think it is for you. So if you want more info, please check them out. Very briefly summarized, a translation memory saves all your previously stored translations. So you never have to do anything twice, especially if you work for a client repeatedly. This saves you so much time, right? And it also guarantees consistency, so your translation is not only faster but also better. A term base is basically a glossary where you can, either you or the client can add terms that are always translated the same way. For example, product names are a very popular thing to add into term bases. And you can also do forbidden rules. So if you have maybe terms from competitors, you want to for sure never use that. So you can say this is a forbidden term, and then it will never get into a translation. You can choose to work with auto-propagation, so then everything that is in your source text that is found in translation memories on translation term bases are already added to your target text, so that gives you much less words to translate. Or you can choose to not do that and just simply take the things from the translation memory when it shows up. It also allows you to do Concordant Search. Concordant Search is super nice. It's a search function that basically combs through all the translation memories that you've attached. So if you want to look up a word, how you translated it, in which context, I'm using Concordant Search all the time in my translations. It's a very efficient tool, and you're searching not in a void, but you're searching in a very specialized search database, because this is all about the text you're working on. Next productivity hack is definitely machine translation. memoQ allows you to integrate machine translation. There are several use cases for machine translation. As all of you out there know, you can of course use raw machine translation or machine translation post-editing for both individual translators as well as companies. memoQ does not perform machine translation itself, but it can connect to many external machine translation tools and services. If you have access to one of the machine translation tools that memoQ supports, so if you have for example, a DeepL subscription like I do, then you can have your machine translation engine integrated into your cut tool. For that, you have to click on the icon options on the top left. On the default resources, you go to the furthest right icon called MT. Here you have to create a new empty profile, name it whatever you want. If you have a DeepL subscription, call it just DeepL, that's the easiest. Then once you have created that, click on Edit, and you can choose DeepL from the list, and then you can configure your DeepL implementation through your paid subscriptions, Just always make sure to use empty wisely. If your client is against it, don't do it. Always be transparent with that. But of course, if you can, if you're supposed to even, you can even do a complete pre-translation and post-edit it after if you like. Next feature that boosts efficiency massively is collaboration. Basically all CAT tools, and in that sense also memoQ, are excellent collaboration tools, right? Whether you're working online on a server of a client or offline on your local computer, you can assign roles. Basically, I think 3 roles. Yeah, you can have a translator, a proofreader, and a final approver, for example, or a second proofreader. And it's an excellent workflow because once the translator is done and pushes the job to the next role, like let's say reviewer 1 immediately gets a notification and can work in the same file online. Then it goes to reviewer 2, and then it's finished and it goes back to the client. So it's an excellent way to collaborate within a tool without sending the text back and forth with insecure email connections. Next up is alignment. The alignment feature is a way to reuse old translation and existing bilingual texts. If you import a bilingual file for alignment, the document and its translations are both segmented into translation units. And then the corresponding translation units are matched using statistical algorithms. memoQ then automatically aligns it quite accurately, actually. However, I still revise it manually every time I use this function, not only to ensure that it actually worked properly, but also because it's a really fun thing to do. Like, I love doing that. While I was working in a translation agency, I was the designated aligner, and I really loved it. You basically mix and match corresponding segments. You can check whether it's actually the translation or if you need to merge or split anything that they match in your target language. And once you're done, all of them go directly into the translation memory. So this can be a huge advantage, of course, because imagine like if you work with a new client, this can be huge, right? If you ask them to send over all the translated material that they have, you can do an alignment on that. Then you already have a full TM that you can leverage for future translations without ever having worked with them before. The next feature is the automated quality assurance. Ensuring translation quality is always crucial, and with memoQ it's done very efficiently and precisely. I really appreciate that. The QA feature can perform over 100 different types of checks. You can check numbers, double spaces in your text, white space, trailing spaces, punctuation marks, consistency, how long a segment is, if it's too long. You can also fine-tune the QA checks based on your needs. I've never changed anything there, so I just run the standard QA, and it's really useful there. There's a huge list of possible errors that can be flagged. I will post a help article in the description of this video. If you really want to check all the errors, you can go there. Or if you see an error you don't know what it is, maybe there is some explanation there. But definitely don't worry, it might flag a lot of things that are not really relevant to you. So if you get in a large document, if you get like 200 flags in the QA, don't be shocked. Just check it and see if it's actually relevant to you. Some of them are just, information or, a little warning and not actually an error. Next productivity hack is templates. The template feature is excellent for translators, especially for the ones that work on similar projects or similar clients. You can set a project template for your favorite client, for example, and then all the metadata as well as, all the resources like TMs are already included. This way you can literally start a project in like 3 to 4 clicks and you can start translating already. I have templates for my main clients and it saves me, I don't know, maybe like 1.5 to 2 minutes each time I set up a project. That doesn't sound like much, but we're talking efficiency here, and if you add up all the projects I've ever done and will ever do, then of course 2 minutes per is huge. Next up is Muses. Muses is something I only recently learned about and not many people talk about. Muses learn from your translation style and provide personalized suggestions in like the predictive typing section of your editor. So as soon as you start typing, something will be suggested to you, and you can accept that simply by clicking the tab button. It's a statistical database that needs to be trained for it to work. So you need to create a Muse profile by clicking on the little folder top left here. That's the resource console. Choose Muse on the left side, create a new one, fill in all the boxes and click OK. You will automatically get to the Train Muse window then, and there you can open a project that you want to use the Muse in. You can also set the sensitivity, as in like how many times a phrase must occur to get into your Muse profile. And you can also set the precision. And precision refers to how reliable the Muse should be. So I would set precision quite high personally, because if you set it quite low, then you get predictive typing suggestions all the time, and that can be quite disruptive. And the last feature is Live Docs. It's a feature I recently made a video on. So it's basically a folder for all sorts of reference materials that you or your clients want to store within the project. If you use Live Docs properly, it's an excellent productivity hack, because you hardly need to leave the tool then for doing research, right? All you need to do is stored right here in Live Docs. You can click the title card in the corner if you want to know more about that. I made a very comprehensive video about it, because it's not a feature that is used properly, I think, for many clients. So that's also a bit our job as translators, to educate our clients, because Live Docs can really boost your speed, your translation speed massively. Because if you need to switch to your email, to your browser for every little information, then you're always losing a couple seconds. And when you count that all up, that can be huge. There you go. These are the main reasons why I think working in a CAT tool makes you faster, more efficient, better, more productive as a translator. So I definitely recommend it, especially everyone out there that is still on the verge, like, should I invest in one? Now it's great, because you can try memoQ for free for 30 days and then subscribe monthly and see if it's for you or not, right? So definitely do that. That kind of alleviates a huge burden that many students have, because you always had to invest so much money at the beginning without having any clients. So I'm really happy that they offer this subscription model now. So definitely check out the link below. Thanks again to memoQ for this video, and I see you next Monday with the next one. Bye bye.